Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Daniel.
I am Chris.
We are combined, Jedi Enclave. We are the Jedi Enclave. So if you're here for that, well, you found us. And, this is it's our live show. We talk about Star Wars, some things that aren't Star Wars, nerdy things mostly.
Star Wars and Star Wars accessories.
Yes.
Star Wars peripherals on occasion.
And then some stuff that just has nothing to do with Star Wars, but we just kind of like. But today, we're mostly talking about Andor, because that's like the big thing that's happening. Before we get started on that, though, please feel free to like and share the stream in places where it would be appreciated.
Places where it wouldn't be appreciated.
You know what?
We're not your dad.
You put it wherever you want. And
just get consent first.
Yeah, please. Please get consent first. Today we're going to be doing a recap and
Andor episode 6.
Yeah, reaction / review of Andor episode 6, which was a banger, by the way. Like, pretty good.
Liked it.
Directly after, well, first of all, thanks to our buddy Connor over at the Star Wars Hub and Star Wars Veritas, who it's good Star Wars content over there. If you want that Star Wars content that doesn't have all the bullshit, go over and check out Star Wars Veritas and the Star Wars Hub, because
both on Facebook. They are two of the very few good Star Wars pages on the internet.
Yes, they do not like clickbait. They don't like Mike Zero, which is a great place to start if you want to be a Star Wars fan. And so yeah, thanks to Connor who makes all that possible and is also very kind with his time with us as well. Directly after this, at 7 o'clock Central, we will be doing our Star Wars Battlefront 2 stream. And the thing about that is that that's likely where we're going to talk about House of the Dragon, because I doubt we're going to have enough time to talk about everything here. So if I had my way, we'd be able to do Andor, House of the Dragon, She-Hulk, and Rings of Power, but we just do not have enough minutes for that. So
there's not enough time.
We will be getting to Andor for short today, and then afterwards on our Battlefront stream, we'll talk about Hot D, as it's called now, House of the Dragon, Hot D.
Hot D.
And then probably.
See, I thought you were just referring to Damon there.
Yeah, well, there are a few people in that show that might actually. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, actually. See, we can't talk about House of the Dragon, though, because, like, now I just want to talk about House of the Dragon.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So today...
There's no news.
Yeah, there's... I mentioned to you earlier, Kevin Smith said anyone that wanted to do a Star Wars movie is stupid, because the fans are stupid.
Which is so self-evidently obvious.
Yeah,
that,
I know.
Like, I don't blame him for saying it, because he's right.
You know, what's crazy about that is that he's such a Star Wars fan that I'm like, he would...
I think it was like his reactions to the sequel trilogy. Like, he just went home, recorded himself talking about these movies on YouTube, and that was what made you want to start this whole project.
More or less, yeah. And in fact, everyone should go watch his, because he went to go see Last Jedi, and it was high, like he smoked a joint before.
You do.
And then came home and immediately turned his camera on, and just from what he could remember, and it's like a 2.5 hour thing he does, and he cries during it. It's Kevin Smith is such a genuinely good person, and I love him so much. You should go check him out. So Andor episode 6, the Eye. That reminds me, we are reading chats today because we're live. Yes. So if you feel like it, put a chat in there. I will read it. How do you Jedi Enclave? I got to say, I love the episode. And the only complaint I have really is that the show is the lack of stormtroopers and alien creatures. Way too many humans. Other than that, it's great. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, they should definitely have more 4-armed doctors, I guess.
Did you watch with subtitles on? You know, we'll get there.
Yeah. So let's. But before we put the spoiler thing up, let's get a couple of non-spoiler thoughts out of the way. Okay. This is another episode where the main title is different, by the way, which I think is a really neat, it's a really neat detail. If you go and line up all the opening themes just from Andor, it's different every single time. Like, something little changes in it, which I think is that doesn't happen very often. They just copy and paste. Yeah. And so I was listening for it today. I was like, ooh, I wonder if that's going to happen, and it did, which is cool. It is someone, one of the guys we play Battlefront with, asked me what I thought about the episode so far, and basically what I said is what I've been saying every week, which is that I'm really glad that they're taking the time to tell a story instead of trying to cram everything into a 20-minute episode where they don't have enough money for it, clearly, or they haven't budgeted enough money for it. And it just ends up being kind of weird, and maybe some things were left on the editing room floor that would have helped the story a whole bunch. Because this has been kind of a slow burn for the last few episodes.
This show seems to be built for the long term. So there's like the overarching theme of how do we get from Cassian Andor, the not so lovable scamp, to the Cassian Andor we see in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the long-term arc of the show.
Yeah.
And thus far, at least, because we have a very small sample size, we've had 2-3 episode arcs that have been about a specific part of the story.
Mm.
So like the first 3 were about him getting off Ferrix and meeting up with Luthen and actually doing rebel shit. And now this 3 episode arc ended with him actually doing rebel shit.
Right.
So, and like we'll get to this at the end, but I'm guessing based on the pattern, there's going to be another 3 episode arc about whatever happens next.
They're like doing like little vignettes, you know.
I wouldn't even call it that. It's
because like the first 3 was on Ferrix.
Yeah.
Right, and that was kind of a kind of a different thing. I noticed that this episode had barely any Stellan Skarsgård in it. It had none of the cop guy, or really anyone. So, yeah, I think they're just organizing it into little 3 episode chunks, and it kind of divides out nicely.
Yeah.
And this is the one where everything kind of comes to a boil. I found myself bitching to myself because I watched it alone, and it would have been weird if I was like bitching to my dogs or whatever. But is it me, or does it seem like blaster shots in this show, or at least this episode, don't have a lot of impact? Did that bother you at all? Because it bothered me. And look, this is me like reaching to the bottom of the barrel to get something. It's something I noticed, and it didn't ruin the experience for me. It didn't really give a fuck that much, but I did notice that like, I can think of in other instances in Star Wars where like a character gets shot, and they're like it really hits them, and then they like slam up against the wall that they're on or whatever. And for whatever reason, the blaster shots on this one just felt like they move kind of slow. They move slower than I'm used to, which would be great for Jedi because they just bat that shit right back. Yeah. But they don't seem to hit very hard either, like I'm used to.
I didn't really get that. It might have been that the scenes and the shots were composed like moving quickly enough that I didn't really notice it before my attention was drawn to the next thing.
Yeah,
but
it is pretty like when it gets going,
Yeah.
Like it's pretty fast paced.
I have to applaud the costuming department on this episode. Everybody looks so good.
Yeah,
like. There's Imperial uniforms and all this shit, and it just looks so good.
Yeah, to say nothing of the big event toward the end, which looked so fucking cool. Like it just to see, because if you've been watching the show, that they're waiting for this event to kind of cover their escape and everything, and it finally happens, and it's like,
it's really fun.
That is pretty neat. That looks really cool. Now you're warned. We are going to get into some spoilers. We're not getting into some spoilers yet.
Literally everything.
Yeah, we're spoiling the whole episode, and we understand if this isn't how you want to consume Andor episode 6.
It's not the way I would have wanted to consume it.
Yeah, not with you, Jesus.
Oh, God.
So go watch the episode and come back if you wish, and if you've seen it already. If you're just here because we're cool, then
First of all, thank you.
Yeah.
But second of all,
so spoilers abound. Let's go. Tell me what happens.
So previously on Andor, the rebels on Aldhani had split into their 2 parties. There were the guys who were going to actually go into the Imperial base and do shit.
Shirts and skins.
And there were the girls who were off doing something else.
Yeah.
So the guys are dressed up in like Highlander, like they have their woolly coats and their hats and things.
Yeah, they're also still very clearly in the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah. It's early in the morning. Nemec gives Cassian a cup of coffee, and he's like, yeah, I really couldn't sleep last night. And Cassian's like, well, yeah, you're going into a very dangerous mission. That's completely normal.
Yeah, you could die. Like, of course you're going to get scared.
Yeah, but don't worry. Like, once we actually start shooting people, like, you're going to be wide fucking awake.
Yeah, you're not going to fall asleep.
Nemec is like, so here's the thing. Like, I was very unsettled last night, and I actually believe in what we're here to do. Meanwhile, you are a mercenary. You don't believe in anything, and you slept like a fucking rock.
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal with that?
It was the heroin.
He's like, okay, so I have this cool manifesto that I tried to get you to read, and I write when I can't sleep. So, like, I wrote to work my way through my thoughts about...
Of course he does.
Yes.
And of course he wants everyone to read it, too, because
he's the fucking...
Look, I'm not shitting on him for it. I think he's a great character, and I think it's actually really funny.
He's like, okay, so this is the conclusion I came to regarding you, Clem. Not you specifically, Clem, but people like you.
Yeah, the idea of Clem.
Basically, a successful rebellion requires both bloodthirsty mercenaries who are only in it for the money and true believers. Because there aren't enough true believers to take the war to the Empire, and the Empire doesn't give a shit about any sort of rules. They're just going to do whatever they need to do to win.
Yeah.
And Cassian's like, well, you're right. The Empire doesn't give a shit about the rules, but they also don't give a shit about you. Like, they don't have to play by the rules.
Yeah.
A, because they make the rules, and B, because they have all of the guns and all of the ships and all of the people.
They're all way too fat to have to worry about the rules.
Yeah. Then he was like, okay, so, like, you're saying that we shouldn't even be trying? Like, we should just be thankful for whatever we're getting? And Cassian gets right down in his face and says, bitch, do I look thankful?
Yeah.
Nemec's like, no, sir, you don't.
Yeah. Do you think my life's been going great?
Also, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you're here because otherwise, like, we probably couldn't shoot straight.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, too, that Nemec is kind of they've really developed him as this like hardcore believer, which he clearly is. Yeah. But he's kind of the one in the group that is kind of warmed up to Cassian the fastest. And maybe it's just because he's an excellent judging character or something. Okay. But I was expecting a little bit more conflict from him being like a young, really stupid, wide-eyed freedom fighter and caring about the cause so much and being like, you're a fucking mercenary.
This conversation is the closest they come to a conflict. And it's kind of saying something that once Cassian gets in his face, Nemec like kind of backs off a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the garrison, the commandant is talking to this visiting engineer colonel.
Yeah, it turns out it wasn't.
It wasn't the
Galen Urso. Yeah, just some random dude I've never seen before.
He's like, yeah, the native Donnie people, they're all a bunch of fucking stupid, superstitious, smelly savages.
They fuck sheep.
Yeah. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Like that.
I can't?
That's an actual stereotype against like Welsh people.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh. House of the Dragon. It is a stereotype against Daemon
not everything's
Targaryen.
about House of Game of Thrones.
That's true.
Anyway, so he talks about how like the Empire is slowly choking off their faith. Like, they had deliberately built a bunch of like taverns and inns and stuff along the route from the lowlands up here.
They found the best way to be douchebags about it, pretty much. Yeah.
And so the engineer says, so like, did you tell anyone that they're not going to be allowed up here next time around? And the commandant's like, no, there's no need to do that. Like, there's barely 60 people showing up to this event. Like,
why?
They're not even. Next year they won't even be here.
Why trouble them with that information?
So the engineer turns to Lieutenant Gorn, the guy the rebels have on the inside, and is like, do you think, like, when we build something in this valley next month, do you think they're going to do anything about it? And Gorn's like, they literally cannot.
Yeah.
Like, we have guns and they have sticks.
Yeah.
And then, like, they're saying, yeah, the eye's going to be tonight. It's going to be great. You've never seen anything like it. Commandant and Lieutenant Gorn step outside. Commandant's like, so what do you think about the engineer? And Lieutenant's like, dude, you are trying so hard to suck his dick, and he is just actively zipping up his pants.
Yeah, he does not want
like,
that.
He does not want to talk to you. Commandant's like, okay, so, like, you're in charge of security for tonight. Is everything set up? Gorn's like, yeah, we brought in 30 dudes from the airbase. Like, I got my best people out here. Nothing's going to go wrong.
Yeah. Nothing will be robbed.
Yes.
I don't think.
We won't be robbed.
Yes.
Nobody will get shot. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Commandant's like, yes, I like perfect. Perfect's good. He walks the fuck away. So the guys are like dialing up their radio, trying to get in touch with the girls.
They're like old school analog fucking CB radio with a big fucking antenna and shit.
Yeah, Nemec's like, yeah, you gotta tune it up 10 and then up 3 and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I like how he's like the guy that kind of knows about the old technology and you know he knows how to finick with it and shit.
So they have this stolen Imperial radio, and the girls have the other stolen Imperial radio. And the deal with these things is that, like, once they're on the same frequency, like, they lock in, and that signal can't be disrupted by anything, no matter what, which is going to be important later.
Yeah.
So the girls are, like, So the garrison is very transparently a dam,
Yeah.
and they're like hiding out in some rocks behind the lake.
It's a real dam, by the way. Yeah.
They couldn't build a dam just for this show. Of course, the real dam.
They could have. Disney could have afforded to do that.
They could have, but they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So they lock in their communications. It's going to be great. The guys start marching down the hill towards where they need to go. Terramin, one of the rebels, is barking. I was like, "Yeah, you need to fucking keep up. We need to go faster." Cassian's like, well, "Geez, he's got a big fucking stick up his ass." Skeen's like, "Yeah, he used to be a stormtrooper.
He's got a big stormtrooper-shaped stick up his ass."
So the first meteor flies overhead. That's the very first part of the eye. The engineer is like out on the dam. He's like setting up his home camera to record all this.
That would have been me, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm missing this.
Like Lieutenant Gorn walks on the engineer. Is like, so like that was the eye, right? Like it's starting, and Gorn's like, well, according to the locals, it never fucking stops. So yes, it's starting. Gorn gets a call on his space phone that the first natives have started arriving. He's like, yeah, okay, just bring them up here, escort them, make sure they don't get in any trouble. So there's Imperial troops guiding the natives on their way up to the temple. Terramin is talking to the group, but mostly Cassian. He's like, yeah, so like, remember that you're an Imperial soldier. You're here to guard the natives. You're not going to talk to anyone. You're not going to do anything. You're especially not going to interact with the dog who just walked up.
Yeah, he's just hanging out right here. Lay down.
Like,
good boy.
We're just, if anyone talks to us from the garrison, we're from the airbase. If anyone from the airbase talks to us, we're from the garrison. Just, that's why they don't recognize us. So the girls are hanging out, checking their equipment, and a squad of Imperial troopers just walks right up to them. They're like, well, shit, I guess we got to hide and be very quiet now. They actually did some really cool cinematography here with shots going back and forth between the two groups of rebels, where the natives are walking up to the guys, and the guys like fall in behind them and are rear guarding them, and the troops hanging out with outside the girls' hideout. And eventually, the end of the native column comes up, and the guys walk up behind them, and the troops walk away, and the girls can relax. Another meteor flies past. The commandant and his family are getting dressed and getting ready for their very fancy evening.
Some of them fitting into their clothes better than others.
Yeah, the commandant has very clearly gained some weight since the last time he put on his fancy sash.
Yes. He's kind of the epitome of like imperial privilege and laziness. Yeah.
He's like, hey, son, where's your fucking imperial tunic?
This guy's poor kid. Oh my god.
Oh god. The kid's like, but I hate my imperial tunic, and also I'm sick. And he's like, bitch, you're always sick. What the fuck? His wife's like, no, actually, he does have a fever. Like,
this kid is sickly. Actually,
he is ill. He is actually going to have problems tonight. Commandant says, look, you guys are always fucking bitching to me about how you hate this planet, how it smells like sheep shit, how you just want to go somewhere nice. If you want to get somewhere nice, I gotta suck this engineer's dick.
Yeah,
and
you guys have to watch.
You guys have to fucking help me suck his dick, because he's the one making the decisions about who gets to leave the planet.
Except for the kid, because that becomes a way worse thing.
That's really fucking weird. Yeah. And they're like, well, you seem to have a really big fascination with sucking dicks, which is kind of weird, but we do actually want to leave this planet. What?
Okay. Do you want to suck dicks? Because that's all you have to say.
Because like we can talk about this. Yeah. We can work it out. So Gorn is there to meet the natives as, the Imperial officer. And then he's like, yes, it's very good to see you, speaking in their native language. And the native leader's like, I hope the eye sees the good in you, wherever that is, because there's probably not much of it, because you're an Imperial dickbag.
Yep.
And Gorn's like, good to see you too. Get to the fucking temple.
Yeah. Glad you're here.
There's a cool shot where like one of the soldiers from the garrison like looks over the rebel squad, and it's a very obvious, I don't know who these people are.
They're kind of eyeing each other.
Should they be wearing the uniforms?
But all of them are so focused on like sucking up that no one wants to say anything about anything,
So another pair of meteors go overhead, and the girl's like, okay, this is our chance, because everyone's gonna be looking at the fucking meteors. They're not gonna be looking at the lake. So they get out there, and they have their wetsuits, and they have this like submersible engine propeller thingy that's carrying them underwater.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they break into the Inquisitor fortress.
Yeah.
Like twice, actually. They did it the same way both times, I think.
It's basically the same thing. So like the rebel squad is lined up watching the natives do their thing, and Nemec's talking to Cassian like, yeah, you're right. I'm actually not sleepy at all. And Terraman's like, shut the fuck up. Gorn
no,
is
but
like,
adrenaline is really great.
all right, all you guys who are actually Imperial soldiers, you're gonna stay out here all fucking night and watch the natives. The guys who are actually rebels here, you're gonna help me like take the commandant back up to the base, and we're definitely not gonna rob anything.
And someone take that belt off him before he suffocates. That fat fuck.
So yeah, the girls ride across the lake to the garrison. Gorn walks up to the commandant and his family and the engineer, and he's like, he's got this goat pelt. The commandant's like, ah, yes, a quaint native custom. Like we give them this goat pelt and they let us have the valley for another 3 years.
It is not at all a fair transaction.
No, but
we are the
they're
Empire.
too fucking stupid to realize what's happening. Also, the goat hide really smells really funny. So like, don't get too close to that. Like, so we just gotta go down, hand this thing over, say a few words, and then we can have dinner, and it'll be great. So the girls like are climbing up the dam, but like they're running a little bit behind schedule, and the guy squad is starting to get a little nervous about this.
They're getting real antsy.
Yeah.
Also, I couldn't help but notice the entire time that like the commandant is trying so hard to impress the engineer guy or whatever by shitting on everything.
Yeah.
And the engineer guy is like, it's not that bad. Like you're kind of just being a douchebag.
I mean, it's Scotland. It's kind of pretty.
It's like I wouldn't choose to live here, and I wouldn't hang out with them probably. But I mean,
it's not awful.
Just calm the fuck down.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Mustafar.
Yeah.
So Gorn, like the Imperials, walk down to the temple, and Gorn is translating. The commandant hands over the goat pelt, and the native leader hands it to his guy, and he hands over a goat pelt. And
I definitely thought it was a Wookiee pelt at first, by the way.
The commandant hands that over to his son.
Now that poor kid has to carry the goat pelt too.
Stinky goat pelt, yeah. The native leader says through Gorn, tell him that our ghosts have long memories and longer arms. And Gorn says he hopes the eye will see the good in you.
Yeah.
And like the native leader is looking at him like,
he
bitch,
knows,
that is not what I said.
Yeah, that dude knows basic. I just thought it was really funny. He's like, I'm not going to say that. That's a bad idea.
The commandant says, yes, well, we will give you the gift of our absence and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So they're just being really snippy on both sides.
I will go so as to not be here anymore.
Yeah. So the girls climbed up the dam. Vel puts this like little box with lights on it on their communications.
It's a thing.
Runs down to where
oh my god.
Yeah, where Tacinta, who is like hooking up these ropes to the railing.
Okay. Hold on. I have to mention this because her running. So anyone who is obsessed with Game of Thrones knows that this character plays the waif in Game of Thrones. And she has one of the most ridiculous runs I've ever seen, where like the only part of her body that moves are her arms when she's running. It's so fucking weird. I don't know how she does it. It's a medical mystery. I just don't understand.
There's a few shots of Vel where she's like very gingerly looking over the edge, and it's really fucking obvious she's scared of heights. Like,
well, also I think this is like the point where she's like the next step is go time. And like this is like everything could go wrong, and like once we're past this one point, there's no turning back.
We are fully committed. So Terraman and Vel are communicating with each other, and Terraman's like, "Dude, are we gonna do this or not? Like, because we kind of need to know, because like the commandant's gonna walk back up there in a minute or two, and like if we go with him, like we're kind of committed."
It'd be really funny if the one
we in?
The one guy is like, you know what we didn't think about in the plane? She's afraid of heights. We shouldn't have put her up there. She should be down here.
That would have been a little bit blatant.
Yeah.
Cassian gives, like, while they're talking about this, Cassian gives him a look like, I should not have been with these fucking amateurs.
This is
like,
where I
Jesus
die.
Christ. Finally, Vel's like, you know what? Yes, we're doing it. We're gonna go. I'm gonna fucking close my eyes and jump over this fucking railing. So the Imperials are walking back up the hill. Gorn is like, all right, Rebel Squad, you're with me. Everyone else, have a good night.
Sir, did he just call them Rebel Squad?
Shh. You didn't hear that.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Mind your own business.
So the native leader takes the Imperials' goat pelt over to like their fire and just fucking tosses
Puts it right in the fire.
Which I'm not sure if that was supposed to be part of the ceremony.
I don't know.
Or
He's like,
what.
you know what I really fucking hate? Goat pelts. Just throws it right in the fire.
So Gorn is walking back up to the garrison with the rebel squad and the Imperials, and he's like, yeah, all you troops out here, you can fucking go down to the temple and watch the eye. Have a great time, and definitely don't interfere with the robbery that's happening here tonight. So they step into this like airlock guard room thing, and as soon as they get in, Cassian closes the doors. They pull their guns, like, all right, everyone, this is a stick up. Nobody do anything stupid, and maybe you'll live to see another day.
Yeah.
And the engineer is like, I'm going to do something stupid, and pulls his gun, points it at Nemec. He's like, you need to let that kid go right now. And like, there's this standoff.
Nemec, by the way, is like just shell shocked, not really sure what to do.
Yeah. Cassian's like, just fucking chill.
Yeah.
You just relax. No one has to die today. And like, they look at each other for a second, and fucking Cinta enters and shoots him.
Yeah. It was really clear that Nemec had never had a gun pulled on him like that before, so he was like real.
I mean, he's a fucking college
yeah,
student.
Yeah, he's the baby. Yeah.
He's the political science freshman who has the entire world figured
He's been
out.
radicalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So the girls enter, and they're like, all right, cool. We got the team here. We got the hostages. Everything's going to go great. For the next, like, back half of the episode, there's shots of, like, the rebels doing things, and then, like, outside the natives and having their festival and the meteors going overhead.
Mm.
It's all very pretty.
The event, the eye, like the meteor shower, is visually stunning.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And they use it as in a couple of different ways throughout that you're about to come up on as well. But they use it as a backdrop for a couple of different scenarios, which is really cool. Like the first time you see it is just everyone in the room, even though they're being held hostage. It starts and everyone looks just because it's so fucking cool. And I imagine that this is one of those things that in a couple of the spots later, they probably actually use the volume for, like some of the interior ship shots, and probably that control room shot, because the lighting is so perfect and interacts with like everything in the set and everything. It's just like one of those things.
So the rebels drive the commandant on the elevator, like, all right, you're going to open up the vault for us. He's like, I can't open the vault. It's controlled from the airbase. And Vel's like, bitch, I know you're fucking lying to me. And if you just want to fucking die, you can go on lying. But if you actually want to, survive and maybe see your wife and child over there, who we also will shoot if you keep fucking lying to us, maybe you should just tell the truth. Like, we know how the vault works. Like, we need your hand to open the lock, but like
not necessarily
not the rest
all
of you.
Yeah.
Like, so if you prefer us to just take that and go on our way, we can do that. She's like, all right, there's two ways this is going to go. Either we win and walk away and everyone goes home alive, or we all die.
And then we still win.
Every single one of us, everyone in this room dies.
Yeah.
Commandant's like, yes, I see your point.
Yeah, well, when you put it that way.
So on the roof.
You've convinced me.
The little communication blocking box that Vel had planned earlier goes on. There's this one guy in the radio booth who's like busy talking to the airbase, and all of a sudden he hears static. He's like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
Starts flipping his switches and shit. He's like, this one red switch, I'll do that a few times. Oh, that didn't work.
So Cassian and Terramin,
it's like me trying to figure out my fucking internet when it doesn't work down here.
So Cassian and Terramin get off the elevator with the commandant, and like there's a couple of serving guys out there with wine, and they're like, hey, knock that shit off. Stand in this corner. Cassian like goes into the control room, which is also a banquet room for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, stand up, get away from the console, quit doing your shit, don't press any buttons. You're all hostages now. Congratulations. Vel and the others load up the family and the one guard who was in the airlock when they did this.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that guy's fucking day.
Yeah.
So they're
not necessarily a great day to be an Imperial.
So all the guys that they've captured are sitting at the dining room table. They're handcuffed. They get these like gags put on them. Nemec is talking to Cinta like, okay, here's the lights, here's the jacuzzi, here's all the controls, and here's the part where you talk to the airbase. Don't touch any of that. Like, we don't want to send any shit.
We don't want to mess with the airbase.
Yeah, leaving the airbase alone.
Airbase is bad news.
Yeah. So the plan is Cinta's going to stay up here with the hostages and the control room while everyone else goes on down to the vault to load shit onto the ship and get out. Vel's like, okay, Commandant, you're coming with us because we need your hand. If you play along, if you're nice, if you just do what we tell you, you get to see your family again. If you start fucking with us, we're just gonna fucking shoot you.
If you fuck around, you will
find out.
Yeah.
But before they go, Val and Cinta have a little moment where it's pretty obvious they're together, and Cinta's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be fine. Just fucking go."
Yeah, and you know what? I appreciate how they do this. It's not. You certainly cannot accuse it of being shoved in your face. It's extremely subtle. It's just they touch hands, and that's all it is.
It's understated, but you get the picture.
Yeah.
So the comms guy is like, steps out of his office. He's like, "Hey, you soldier is running around. Did your comms just go out a minute ago?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's really weird. Like all the channels went out, but like the one at the airbase is still working. I don't fucking get that. It must be the eye, I guess." So the rebels get down to the vault. They find that the guys who are supposed to be working are fucking playing sabacc.
Or
some sort of card.
Yeah, I don't think it's sabacc, but yeah, they're playing something.
Yeah. So, like, "Hey, Commandant's here. Fucking inspection. Stand up. Line up." And all the guys, like, drop their cards and they're standing up. And then the rebels like...
Which, by the way, this would be such a dick time to do a real inspection.
Yeah. And the rebels are like, "Surprise! This is a stick-up."
Hands to the sky.
Yeah, the Commandant's like, "This is actually a robbery. Like, these guys have shot people, and I'm pretty sure they're going to shoot some more people. Yeah. So, like, just play along.
All this money is federally insured. It's just...
Yeah, you're not on the hook for any of this. Just do what they tell you so that we all stay alive." Vel's like, "All right, fucking get over here. Get your hand on the screen. You're going to unlock the door." So the rebels are like, "All right, Imperials, you're going to grab all that money. You're going to load it on the fucking ship. Anyone who doesn't want to, just raise your hand and we'll fucking shoot you right now."
Well, man, yeah, I love it. They're like, anyone not want to do this, just raise their hand. And they're like, that's how we die, right?
We'll actually do this. Yeah. It's fine. So the door opens. The payroll is stored in these like octagonal things that are like strapped down to. Yeah. The Commandant's like, "I can't open those. Like that is actually controlled from the airbase. I can't do anything about that." Yeah. And Terraman's like, "Bitch, you thought." He walks in, puts some bombs on some control panels and blows them up, and the things pop, and now you can get the payroll.
Yeah. He's like, "We thought of that. Don't worry."
Yeah. So the rebels like, "Hey, Imperials, get in there. Start fucking loading up the ship. We got to go." So at this point, Cassian and Nemec are getting the ship ready to fly. Like, Nemec's got his little like camera.
It's like a sextant though, like because like I remember seeing it like in the last episode. It was like really clearly like a Polaroid camera or something, but they put something on the side of it that gives it like those like the things that sailors use on the fucking boats and shit.
It's got some gizmos on it. So he calls up to Cinta in the control room. He's like, "All right. So, like, we're down here. We got the ship. We are fucking loading the money in. Like, is everything cool?" Cinta's like, "Yeah, the airbase hasn't, that they've called, but they haven't, said anything. They haven't raised any alarms yet." Meanwhile, in the communications booth, the Imperial communications officer is like, "What are they talking about?"
Yeah.
And Nemec's like, "Let me go over the plan one more time so that anybody who's listening knows exactly what's happening. Yep. We are robbing the vault."
Yes. And we're doing a good job, damn it.
The communications guy's like, "I think they're robbing the vault."
Yeah, I think there's... are they robbing the vault?
Yeah. So the airbase calls the garrison. It's like, "Hey, we got an alarm that the vault just opened. Like, what the fuck's happening?" Cinta's like, "I'm just not going to answer that." Hang up.
I'm going to choose not to answer that call.
Yeah. Cinta
That's a boring conversation anyway.
Yeah. So she powers down all the exterior lights and everything, which is really good timing because, like, the eye proper is about to start. And, like... outside, the natives are like covering up their fires so that it's dark so they can see the like normal shit you do in a meteor shower. Gorn is traveling through a tunnel underground. When all the lights go out, so he just pulls out his flashlight and keeps going. Comms guy like gathers this squad of Imperial soldiers. Like, "We gotta get down to the vault right now. I think somebody's trying to rob it."
It's fucking hilarious, by the way. They're about to run down, and one of the guys is seriously like, "We're gonna miss the eye," and he's like,
"Fuck the eye! Did you not hear me?"
Yeah. He's like, "No, robbery notwithstanding, just let him have it because like we'd really like to see this."
So Gorn walks down to the vault. He's like, what the fuck? I thought we were leaving. Like, we have 2 fucking minutes before we need to be in the air.
Yeah.
What is taking so long? Commandant's like, what are you doing here? Like,
actually, the way they shoot this is really neat because he's like, so at this point he's already having some kind of physical trouble.
Yeah,
like
he's old, he's fat,
he's really sweaty, like he's
they
clammy.
made him help and push the whatchamacallits and
yeah,
load the ship.
this man has not had this much cardio in years.
No.
And he's like he goes to take a break and he hears footsteps on the stairs behind him and he like slowly turns because he knows who it is and he's like, you motherfucker. Yeah.
Like, you are gonna hang for this. And Gorn is like, bitch, I worked for you for 7 fucking years. I deserve way worse than hanging.
Yeah.
So at the airbase, they're scrambling some TIE fighters to go see what's happening.
Awesome fucking sequence here, by the way. So good.
There's a great shot of the TIE fighters from like behind, and you're looking out at the eye, which has this like green sky, and then all the
greens and blues and shit.
Going through. It's fucking gorgeous.
And I like how this is a cool. I don't know if we've seen this done in live action before. By the way, we've seen it done in video games, I know, but I'm not sure that we've seen TIE fighters loading into their TIE, like the pilots loading in. Because they hang like bats, you know, and that's how they store them, and they climb down from a ladder, and then they, you know, close the hatch and shit. So it was kind of cool to see that in live action.
So the comms guy arrives with his dudes, and he's like, hey, what the fuck's going on? Gorn is like, this is a classified mission. You do not have a right to be here. Get the fuck back to your post.
I love how he's like, I can still salvage this. I can still make this work.
He's doing his best. Comms guy's like, hey, wait a minute. Isn't that the Commandant? And Gorn's like, Commandant, you need to tell this guy that he needs to get the fuck out of here.
Tell him about the classified thing.
Yeah, this is all classified. The Commandant is just like sitting there, huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
And then he has a heart attack.
Yeah, he's like, I think I'll die now. Goodbye. Heart attack, falls the fuck over.
And everybody just starts panicking.
Yeah.
So Skeen like grabs his fucking giant ass gun they got from the Imperials and starts shooting.
You know what's really sad is he had a heart attack before he got to suck a dick.
True.
That poor guy.
And the guy whose dick he wanted to suck already got shot.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Did the engineer guy die? I can't remember.
That was way back when they first took him hostage.
Maybe they'll make.
Anyway, everybody's fucking shooting at this point. The Imperial loader and people are just like crawling on the floor trying to get out of the way. One of them is on board the ship right this second. We'll come back to that in a second. Gorn is like the first guy who gets shot. He's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Cassian is trying to ready the ship and get out of there when this one Imperial loader like grabs him from behind and is like trying to put him in the sleeper hole.
So Gorn's the
lieutenant.
Yeah, his death was kind of weird to me because Skeen was supposed to cover him. Remember, he's like, cover me. And
no, that's later. You're thinking of Terriman when he died. Which spoilers?
What? Yeah. Wait, which one is Gorn again?
The lieutenant. The guy who is like, Commandant, you need to fucking tell him to fuck off.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Yeah, that's the guy that gets
different guy. Like he gets shot immediately. The guy you're thinking of happens later.
Maybe, yeah. It's actually really embarrassing that I can't remember both of these as different characters, and I swear to God, it's not for the reasons that you think.
Anyway, so
the guy with the mustache, right?
Yeah, that's not Gorn.
That's the guy that gets shot when Skeen's supposed to cover him. Okay.
That's Terriman.
Okay.
Anyway, so Cassian's like rolling around. He tries to pull out his pistol to shoot this guy. Finally, he like rolls so that the guy's back is to Nemec, and Nemec shoots him. Yeah. And Cassian's like, good job, kid.
Yeah. This could have gone a lot differently. Yeah.
So there's this gunfight. Everyone's suppressing everyone. Terriman is like, I need to get to the fucking ship. Cover me, Skeen. Skeen's like, I don't know about this, but okay. He starts shooting. Terriman starts running, gets shot, goes down.
Yeah, because like this is what I'm saying. Skeen stopped covering him. Like he just
he shot a guy. He's like, okay, I covered him. I shot a guy. My job is done.
I don't know. Maybe I watched too much Archer, but when I think of suppressive fire, like you keep firing until the dude is clear.
Yeah. Right.
And he just kind of stopped, and that's what got him killed.
These are not professional soldiers we're dealing with here.
Oh, one of them is.
Well, yeah.
Well,
the one who died.
The reason that I came back to this was because of something we're going to talk about with Skeen here in a bit. But
so Vel and Skeen get on board, and Cassian fucking takes off. Like, hold on, we're gonna fucking put this thing in overdrive. So he disengages the rail thing, and they're taking off. Unfortunately, people weren't wearing their seatbelts. They were just like clinging to railings.
Yep.
So when the momentum hits, Nemec gets like slammed to the ground and back where these like pallets of credits are.
Yeah.
And then there's like this half full pallet of credits that like slams right into him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, I can't feel my legs.
Yeah, they skipped the part of the plan where they talked about the equal and opposite reaction forces in physics.
So like he's his back is broken, so that's not great. The ship emerges right out in the center of the eye. They're flying through the meteor shower, just like they
gorgeous, by the way, just fucking stunning. The whole thing looks so cool.
Fantastic set piece. Vel and Skeen get Nemec out, and Cassian's like, where the fuck am I flying? Like it's a mess out here. I don't know where I'm going.
Yep.
They're like, hold on. Vel pulls out this needle, this med spike, she calls it. I think.
I just imagined it was meth.
And Nemec looks at it with these big eyes like, this is going to hurt, isn't it?
Yeah.
She fucking stabs him in the chest with this thing.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, God.
It wakes him the fuck up, though.
Yeah.
He's, like, ready to go.
So they drag him up to the cockpit, and Cassian's like, no, seriously, where am I going? And Nemec futzes with his camera a little bit. He's like, okay, you need to pull up right now. He's like, dude, this thing has no thrust. Like, there's no way we're going to be able to go up. And Nemec is like, no, seriously, pull the fuck up.
Yeah.
And he does.
You do that or we will die.
And, like, he gives him a few other directions. Like, go to vector, blah, 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 and full thrust.
Yeah.
And he does. And they're flying. The TIE fighters show up.
They're not having such a great time.
These poor TIE fighters. Like, they're trying to shoot the freighter, but they're also having to dodge the meteors.
Yeah.
And eventually they all just get fucking pulverized by meteors. And the ship gets free. And so Cinta walks out. Like, she's got this Imperial officer uniform on. She just fucking walks right on down to the temple where the natives and the Imperials are also all just looking up at the eye because it's really fucking pretty.
Yeah. None of them seem to notice that there's TIE fighters and shit happening. Yeah.
I mean, would you look at that when you had everything else to look at? So on the ship, Cassian's like, okay, where the fuck are we going? Because, like, I can fly this thing wherever you want, but I need to know where we're going.
Yeah.
Like, where are we supposed to drop off the money? Skeen is like, okay, look, Nemec is kind of paralyzed and dying right now.
Yeah.
But we planned for this. We have a contingency for a doctor. We just need to fucking go there. And Cassian's like, great idea. Let's go find the doctor. So they show up to the doctor.
You find out that what's her name is not keen on this idea because it like endangers.
Vel's like, he's gonna die. Like he's actively dying right now.
Yeah.
It's way more important to the rebellion that we get this money where it needs to go.
Yeah.
So they get to the doctor. Vel is like inside the office, like holding up an IV bag or something, while Skeen and Cassian are outside. And I have in my notes, he's named Dr. Quadpaw. Mm-hmm. Really? Because he has 4 hands?
Yeah.
Real fucking clever.
Yeah. It's they aren't.
Star Wars names have always been on the nose.
Yeah.
But
George Lucas has never been real great at like the guy.
Remember Savage Opress?
Yeah. Or the guy that tries to sell Obi-Wan death sticks, his last name's like Sleazebagano or something. Yeah.
Anyway, so like Skeen and Cassian are sitting out there, and Skeen's like, you know how much money is on the ship? Cassian's like, no. Skeen's like, there's 80 million credits on this ship.
Yeah.
Like, that is a shit ton of money.
That's so much more than he's being paid for this gig.
He's like, you said that you wanted to win and walk away. Well, here's our fucking chance.
Yep.
Like, we both get 40 million. We just disappear.
What was your first impression of this when he started talking about this, by the way? Because I'll tell you what I thought. I thought that this was a test. That he was talking about it to see if he would say yes and then try to kill him.
I don't know that it would need to be a test. Like, they know that Clem is a mercenary. They know he's not a spy because, like, he helped them pull this thing off.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
Like, I don't think there's anything to gain from testing him.
I
halfway thought Cassian was going to take the offer.
I thought he was too, yeah.
So, Cassian's like, so wait a minute, like, what happened to the rebellion? Skeen's like, yeah, there is a rebellion. It's just me against literally everybody else.
Yeah.
Cassian's like, so, like, your brother with the orchard? Like, Skeen's like, I don't actually have a brother.
It's a fucking lie.
Like, that's just something I fed them so that they thought that I was cool.
People like you more if you have dead relatives.
Skeen's like, all right, let's just cut the bullshit here. Like, you and I are basically the same person, right? Like, we were born in a hole, and all we've ever known is climbing over people to try to get out. Like, let's just, I know this moon. It's like 8 parsecs away. We just fucking go there.
They're finally using the word parsec in the right context, by the way.
We'll split the money and go our separate ways. And Cassian pulls out his gun and just fucking shoots him.
Yep. Without another fucking word. Just fucking shoots him.
Mid-sentence even.
He does a Han Solo.
Yeah. So Nemec doesn't make it. Vel's like, thank you, Dr. Quadpaw. Thank you for trying.
Yeah. They do the obligatory pull the sheet over and close the eyes.
Mm-hmm. Cassian walks in with his gun drawn, and the doctor's just like, I just work here, man.
I tried to save him.
Yeah. Like, I fucking did my best.
Y'all brought him to me in real bad shape, so...
Cassian's like, all right, Dr. Quadpaw, I'm going to give you $30K for the ship that you have in the barn. That's like twice what it's worth, so I'm really doing you a favor here. Vel's like, hey, Skeen, where the fuck are you? And Cassian's like,
I'm dead.
He's dead, actually. Yeah. Vel's like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Cassian's like, but not for the reason you might think.
Yeah, exactly. And he tells her about his little betrayal there too, right?
Does he?
Yeah. I think he's like, he was going to take it and run, so he's dead now. Yeah.
She's like, I don't believe you. He's like, believe what you fucking want, lady. She's like, you son of, like, fucking Terraman warned me about you. I should have listened to him. Cassian's like, all right, look, I'm just going to take what I'm owed out of the stuff we stole. Yeah. I'm going to take the doctor's ship, and you'll never see me again. Yeah. And Vel's like, all right. Oh yeah. He also gives her the Kyber crystal. And he's like, here, give this back to your friend. Yeah. Vel's like, okay, before you go,
tell Daddy Skarsgård we're breaking up.
Nemec wanted you to have his manifesto. And Cassian's like, I don't want his fucking manifesto.
Why does he keep trying to get me to read the fucking manifesto?
She's like, no, really. He insisted. Like, it was his last wish. He was, like, his eyes were real big when he was telling me to give it to you.
It's his magnum opus.
Fine, I guess I'll take his fucking manifesto. So he takes it, and he fucks off. Mm. At ISB headquarters, like it's pretty late at night. Literally everybody in the building is coming down to the conference room.
Something has happened.
Major party guys is like, all right, cancel your dinner plans, cancel your fucking tomorrow plans, cancel everything. No one's going home tonight. I want you to dust off every single contingency retaliation plan on the entire galaxy and get them ready to present by midnight.
Yes,
the shit has hit the fan.
Yes. We're I don't know what it is.
We are at DEFCON 1.
We're bombing something. I don't know what it is.
In the Senate, Mon Mothma is giving a speech about something.
Yeah.
She looks.
It's about the Gorons.
The people she was talking about last episode.
Yeah.
So she's like giving this speech, and she looks off to the side, and like the people in the next Senate pod over are like pointing
at their iPhones and
they're
shit.
Poking out their iPad. And they're like. She looks over the other side, same thing. So finally she pulls up her iPad, like looks up and reads whatever the fuck is going on. She's like, oh, motherfucker. Oh, no. What has Luthen done now?
Which, by the way, she's given this speech.
Yep.
And it's a cool shot of the interior of the Senate. It reminded me, if you ever like flip to C-SPAN, have you ever done that? Like, where like someone's giving a speech, but there's no one there. like it's just the one guy giving the speech. Yeah. That's what that was, because there were a few people in their pods, but most of them were empty. Yeah. Like, I don't know, I just thought it was really funny.
So in Luthen's shop, his assistant is showing this customer, we have this beautiful blue pendant. Luthen comes out and is like, it's inscribed in a language that nobody can read anymore. And she's like, that's really sad. Luthen's like, no, it's great. Like, you can invent your own language. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
But that's not how languages work. It means something. It meant something to someone else.
So there's another customer in the shop, and he says, do you have anything from Aldani? And Luthen fucking, his mask almost completely falls off. He's like, Aldani?
His wig is like, oh shit, put that back on.
Customer's like, it's in the news. There's some big fucking rebel heist at Aldani. And Luthen's like, I might actually have something from Aldani. Let me just go look in the back. And the customer's like, I was. It's a joke, dude.
It was kidding.
Lighten up.
Jesus.
So Luthen gets back there.
Just laughing about some fucking robberies.
And he just starts fucking laughing. Like, holy fucking shit. Yeah. Those motherfuckers actually pulled it off. Yeah. And then he gets, his face sobers. And he's like, oh, holy shit, those motherfuckers actually pulled it off.
Yes, and it's okay. So first of all, you think that they heard him laughing?
Yeah,
because like he was laughing.
He was laughing pretty hard. Yeah,
because they brought it up in the last episode where she's like, well, by this time tomorrow,
it'll all be over.
Yeah, it'll all be over, and he's like, or we'll just be fucking dead. Yeah. And so that's like, I think to me that was his moment where it's like, well, we're not fucking dead. Good place to start.
Yeah,
and now we probably have like 80 million credits for the rebellion now. Anyway.
Cut to black, roll credits. Yes. That's the end of the episode.
And so, like, obviously we know that Cassian ends up
eventually will end up.
He's
in the
balls deep in the rebellion.
Like they have 2 more seasons of the show planned, so I doubt it's going to happen immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Well, he's going to read that manifesto.
Yes,
I think
and that's going to set some gears in motion.
Yeah.
But the fact that he gave Luthen's crystal back and didn't like go with Vel to deliver the credits seems like a pretty clear sign to me that he's not in the rebellion right now.
Yeah, and based on some trailer footage that we've seen that haven't showed up in the show yet, he probably ends up in jail somewhere.
Could very well be.
And I think that they like Luthen breaks him out or something.
It's like, bitch, I own you now.
Yeah, yeah. So, we're going to leave that there. This is the perfect place to stop. Yeah. A reminder, here in about 10 minutes, we will be doing our Battlefront 2 stream. We hope that you join us, and we will be talking about Hot D, the House of the Dragon, and also She-Hulk and Rings of Power. So drop by and say hi then, and hope. I'm also waiting for an Amazon package that literally just got dropped off at my house. That's perfect. All right, cool.